Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up to date, we've got a web design and hosting service for sale in the real estate niche. Created in January 2011, this business makes $8,534 per month in net profit. The listing number for this site is 40557. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the site does include with the sell, the server space, obviously the domain name, an IDX account, a share a sale account as well when the buyer purchases the site. So just as an introduction, Jason, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running an online business? Is this your first one, or did you have others before this one?
Yeah, so I've been in the real estate marketing niche for a little over a decade. Initially started with a company and a partner where we did print, CRM type item of value kind of mailers. And then the crash happened in 2008, 2009, and we sold that business, and we started another business called that one Web 864. And that was right when kind of blogging was really taking off, and we started creating just simple WordPress blogs for real estate agents. And we built that up to and that was a membership service. We built that up to enough people where we could sell it. And we did sell it to a title and escrow company here locally. And I worked for them for about a year as their marketing manager, and then decided I wanted to start something similar on my own, and kind of fumbled through a bunch of different online marketing services until I kind of settled on web design.
Why did you decide to settle on web design in particular? Just you found
Well,
it to be
that's
the
what
most
people
profitable?
kept asking me for. So, I was trying SEO and social media. I didn't see how I could really carve out a sales niche in social media, and SEO is so flooded, and so people kept asking me for websites, and so I just kept building them.
Do what the people want, right?
There you go.
That makes sense. So could you go over, for the layman who might not be super familiar with web design services or even marketing services, could you just briefly describe how this website primarily makes its money?
Yeah, well, so first thing is I try to eat my own dog food. And what I mean by that is I do very little, almost none, pay-per-click advertising. So the whole basis of the site is built around inbound marketing, or generating referrals by providing content, by providing useful content. So essentially I try to teach real estate agents kind of how to market. In turn, they generally will contact me through the site and then ask me to build a website. And we use the WordPress platform. We use, they're all IDX, which is just the MLS data pumped into the site. And, so people contact me, well, there's, any inbound marketing campaign, there's lots of different ways, but we have tons of lead capture built in, and sometimes we'll get the phone calls, sometimes we'll get contact forms. But what I do is I'll take a contact, follow up with them, and usually because of the amount of content that I have on my site, when people contact me, they're basically ready to do business. It's just a matter of reassuring them that we're going to do a good job, and coaching them a little bit on what they should do once they get a WordPress site up and running.
So why, the business is doing pretty well, almost 10K a month in net profit. So why are you selling the business? Why not just keep it and keep growing it? Obviously, you're very familiar with the niche.
Yeah, so two reasons. One is I did have a partner that I've been working with for the last 18 months, and how do I say this politely? But he's got cancer, and it's slowed him way down. And so the second reason is, like I said, I really wanted to be more of a coach when I started, and people kept asking me to build websites, so I kept doing it. And I've been building real estate websites now for about 7 years, and I'm just kind of ready for a change.
So what's the plan after the sell? Are you moving into some kind of coaching, or do you have any ideas for the money?
Yeah, two ideas. One, I've been teaching real estate agents how to market for so long. I'm thinking I might just hop into real estate. That's probably the most likely plan. I have a couple other opportunities. I'm meeting with people right now, but I will not be doing this.
So when the site was built, when you first started it back in 2011, what was the trajectory of the business the first few weeks/months? Was it pretty consistent? Did you get a lot of clients right away, or was there kind of a build up to that?
Yeah, I got clients pretty fast. Still in 2011, content marketing wasn't a huge deal, and I was utilizing, that content and social media and email marketing and such. And so I was able to start generating leads pretty fast. And there's a lot of people out there that, want real estate websites because, well, they want ownership, So a lot of the big brands, well, they're providing a proprietary service. And, so you're reliant on them. What I do is I build the site and they own it afterwards, so it can grow with them. And that's real enticing to a lot of people because really a real estate agent should be kind of think of themselves as their own business, So, if you were starting a business, like you wouldn't want somebody to own your website. That's not really good business.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have a lot of friends in real estate. My father is actually in real estate as well. And I know a lot of them, they'll get, the websites where their name is a subdomain of the main brokerage they work for, like elfring.prudential.com or something like that. And yeah, they don't own the website, so owning the platform obviously is extremely important. And a lot of people don't think about that. If you're playing on someone else's platform, you're very limited to what you can do.
Right. Yeah, and the business is a preferred partner for IDX Broker and Agent Evolution, which IDX Broker is the largest provider of IDX in the country. And then we also have relationships with most of the other large IDX providers. I have affiliations set up with, just a ton of people, and which is, another revenue stream that really I should be tapping into. I just really haven't. I haven't had the time, but I rank really well for a lot of real estate website keywords. And so,
For the layman, what is IDX and what is Agent Revolution? Could you just go into those briefly?
Yeah, so IDX is basically the MLS has all the real estate data, right? And they got about, 800 of them in the United States. And, well, you can't just get that data to kind of go onto your website, right? So these third-party vendors have created the platforms to take that MLS data and turn it into something that we can more easily put that data onto, say, a WordPress website. So it's, requires a monthly fee from the agent. But in the relationship that I have with IDX Broker, I currently get 40% of that monthly fee. It's monthly residual, which is real nice.
That is very cool. So the IDX basically takes their MLS listings, which is their property listings more or less, and populates their website automatically for them. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the MLS feeds will go into, say, IDX Broker in this case, and then IDX Broker takes that data and turns it into, a nice user interface that can plug into a WordPress website fairly easily.
That's super useful for a realtor. Obviously, they're always going through new listings and getting new properties to show, so that would make sense. As far as Agent Revolution, could you describe what that is?
Yeah, so that's their parent company, which they design some of the best real estate themes based off of, well, initially it was based off of the popular Genesis WordPress theme, but they make their own equity parent theme now. But so if somebody goes and starts looking at those themes or starts looking at IDX Broker, then they find me real quickly as a preferred partner. So
excellent. That's good association. So since you're moving on to another business after you sell this one, is there anything you learned from this web design business that you'll apply to your future sites or opportunities?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna, basically do what I do for my clients for myself, and I'll be building up a robust WordPress website with IDX, and of course I'll turn it into a content marketing machine and start dominating the local market.
Excellent. What did you try that just didn't work with this business? Is there anything that just fell flat on its face?
Yeah, I've tried twice to provide content for clients, and I just can't get that to work. The writers invariably will do some incorrect grammar or some of that effect. And
yes. I understand that problem.
yeah. So
if you're in the business of building websites and content sites in general, you go through a lot of writers.
Yeah. So, but to do it inexpensively enough where somebody could, get 4 or 5 posts on their blog every month, it just, I didn't figure out how to make it work. But not to say that you couldn't.
Yeah, definitely. There is an opportunity there. I mean, the real estate agents do need content on their site, right? To, like you said, for the whole content marketing aspect. So that could be a good opportunity for someone who understands how to create that and get reliable writers on the team.
Yeah, I mean, somebody could make a living just out of that. I mean, I don't think about maybe 1% of my clients actually add content to their sites after it's built. So they're all dying for it.
Right. Switching into a bit more of traffics and earnings on that note, could you give me a breakdown on where the traffic is coming from? I know you said it's a lot of inbound. So is that majority of it, is it organic from the search engines? Are you getting referrals, direct? Is it social? Could you talk a little bit more about what you're doing there?
Yeah, so I'd say about 70 to 80% is organic from, Google, off of a couple of very highly placed keyword searches that I have. And then, but I do a lot of social as well. Of course, whenever I write a blog post, I promote it with, I try to get, some influencers to promote it. And, I put it on, go blast it out on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and all the social media channels. And then, sometimes I get some referral. I'll get, I hit my database with an email probably every week, so get traffic that way.
How big is that email list?
I think it's about, last time I looked, about 4,000.
And is that email list also going to be included in the sale of the business?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, great. No need for it. So the majority of your traffic is coming from search, which is usually the best kind of traffic. Moving into the earning side, could you break down your earning type? Now you have web design. You mentioned you're also getting paid with IDX. Could you go over the different streams of income that are with this business?
Yeah, so I sell kind of 2 standardized website products, a starter site and a pro site. I charge a flat fee of $500 for a starter site and $1,000 for a pro site. And then I also have a custom site. Of course, that can be whatever somebody wanted to price it out at, but I generally price those between $2,000 and $3,000. And then the IDX, which is currently at about $3,000 a month, and that's every month, provided that people don't cancel, which they probably only cancel about 1 or 2 a month. So as long as you're adding more than that, which is pretty easy, then that just keeps growing. And then actually in the middle of 2 different things I was doing. One, I started doing I have a WP Engine server that will need to go, and it will take hundreds of sites on it, and so I was charging people $29 a month to host on my server, and I think the cost on it once you get over say 100 installs is only about $5 a site. So it was a real good revenue stream, but for me, just running it by myself, having people hosted, I was getting a lot of inquiries, so I wanted to kind of start cutting that out. And WP Engine in particular, which is a WordPress specific host company that I really like. They load fast. They have extra layers of security, back up your site every 24 hours, and lots of good stuff. And they're WordPress specific. They give you $200 every install when you sign somebody up. So I've kind of started going to that model recently instead, and just signing people up and then not having to deal with them with the hosting. So, but I still probably got about 50 people on the server that are paying monthly, So, somebody could go either way, whichever they wanted.
I've heard this debate before. So basically, from what I understand, you had your own hosting, like a reseller, correct? Like a hosting reseller that you would put them on your own hosting, but now you're just moving them to the WP Engine affiliate program, more or less?
Yep.
So have you found that it's more profitable and more time efficient for you that way?
I can go pros and cons on both. Obviously, the $200 bump is nice up front, but getting that monthly money is nice as well. The problem with collecting the monthly for me is I was just using PayPal, and so when their credit card expires, then the payments stop, and then you have to contact them again and deal with all that. And so I just thought, well, one less thing to worry about, just do the affiliate money instead. So
yeah, $200 up front is pretty nice anyhow. I'm sure that covers for at least a few months of what you would earn from hosting it yourself.
Well, sure, if you're only making, like 19 a month, so that covers, a good year and a half or something. So.
Right. Going on earning types, so your monthly revenue with this business is sitting at around $14,634, but your expenses are $6,100. Now, you're still making a very healthy net profit from that, but could you go into what those expenses are?
Yeah, so I took on a partner, and I essentially made him 50-50, and so he was my sales and customer service guy for the last 18 months, which is how far back we went with our records. But so that's the majority of it, is paying him. I mean, really, there's hardly any cost. I mean, you got to pay for the server, and you got to update software, and you got to buy images, which if you do that smart, you can do it real cheap. And so there's some stuff to buy, but by and large, it's very high profit margin. And so I just chose to pay somebody to do my sales and customer service.
Okay, so pretty much all the expenses, except for a few little things, comes from paying the partner then.
Yep, exactly.
Is that partnership dissolved now, or are you guys selling this business together?
It is, yes.
It is dissolved? Okay.
It is dissolved.
So you mentioned that you do mainly all inbound. So I'm assuming you have a ton of content on your site. Would you happen to know just offhand how much content you have on the site right now and how much content you're adding on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so the blog itself is actually starting to get real popular. And so I'm getting a lot of guest posts opportunities right now. And I haven't had to write a blog post in about a month. And I'm still pumping them out about 4 to 6 a month. So I tried, I do one every week. And see how many posts are there on here. I mean, there's hundreds.
No worries, that's fine. Hundreds is it's plenty. So
yeah, we got thousands of links and thousands of 293 posts, 75 pages. So
for the person that's coming into buying this business, and they might necessarily not be an expert on real estate or maybe even marketing, and I'm sure most of your content is related to those two things, marketing for real estate agents, what would you suggest for them to do to keep adding 4 new pieces of content a month without them actually having to be the expert?
Yeah, so, like I said, I don't even really have to write anymore. I probably get, 4 to 5 people that ask to give me content every day right now. Of course, most of it's garbage, but but I get but you get some quality people that want to write for me, and so I think as long as somebody's taking care of the site, that number is going to keep growing. So, as a matter of fact, Zillow we have a deal where they write 1 post a month.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Zillow is a pretty huge brand in that space.
Yeah. It's it's not a contract. It's just a handshake deal with their content manager, but
right.
Every month they write me a blog post.
It's pretty awesome. So in terms of opportunities, if you were going to keep this business and keep on growing it, what would you say would be the least risky path to grow this business? What would you really focus on?
Yeah, I would, if I were starting fresh and I was going to take a look, I would really maximize what the blog itself is doing, and I would create more affiliate sales opportunities. The reputation of the site now is such where you can get an affiliate partnership with anybody you want, which I have a ton. I mean, any real estate company most contact me and ask me to promote it. And so you could do the review posts. And if somebody were to and then you don't even need to be an expert, right? Because, like, let's say, well, shouldn't say any brands, but okay, there's this back office software company that wants me to review their software right now. So you get it for free. You just go in and play with it for a couple hours, and then write a review, what you think, with the link off, and make money that way. I would focus on that a lot more.
I could see there being a lot of affiliate potential inside of this niche as well. Just knowing from, growing up with my father as a realtor and being kind of around real estate all my life, there's a lot of stuff out there for that niche.
Oh, there's a ton. And if somebody just wanted to spend their time and just use the reputation of the site, you can call up anybody and just be like, hey, look at my site. What do you think? Oh, yeah, sure. Can I do a review? They'll probably give you the software for free, run it through, write a post about it, and a link, and off you go. I think somebody could almost do really well just doing that.
Yeah, if you have the traffic and the brand for it, I don't see why that wouldn't be successful. As far as if you wanted to grow this business incredibly quickly and you decided to throw caution to the wind and not care about the risk, what would you do to grow the site rapidly?
Yeah, so two things I've never done is I've never done any outbound calling whatsoever. So I would hire a salesperson. And I know I said that my partner did sales and service, but all he did was just took the calls and the leads that I generated and followed through and closed them, right? So if you really wanted to start calling people out and going and getting clients, I think that it could grow amazingly fast. On top of that, as I said, I've never really done any pay-per-click or Facebook marketing. A little bit here and there, but if somebody wanted to take that on or a little bit better at it than I am, that could also grow it super quick. But I'd say that's about it.
So sales and paid marketing would be your route.
Yep.
That's a pretty good route. Outbound sales can be pretty effective. I actually had a funny anecdote with my father. He told me he signed up for some random SEO thing, and the guy actually cold called him while he was driving to an open house. My dad signed up while driving. Like, oh, Dad, that's dangerous. Don't sign up for random
especially
stuff
with
SEO.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Yeah, so outbound sales, if anyone's
could be number one on Google today.
yeah, you know all the pitches that they give. So if anyone's out there listening to this, like, oh, cold calling doesn't work. Well, my dad's a very successful realtor, and it worked on him while he was driving. So as far as risk go, speaking of risk, what do you think is the biggest risk that a buyer of this site should be aware of?
Keeping up with technology. If we're providing a website, you don't want the website to suck. So
I don't want it to look like it's from the early or the late 90s, right?
That's right.
Or dial-up modem.
So yeah, I did when I was working by myself, just me, I would outsource the websites a lot, and then I would do the sales and the service. Somebody could do it all themselves too. Then obviously you have less cost. You probably would sell less sites. But if somebody were real ambitious and wanted to hire a developer and take on the sales, or hire both a developer and a sales guy, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea.
So you currently do all the websites yourself then? Is that what you're saying?
I do, yes.
Okay, so that kind of works good into a segue of talking about the work on the site. What type of work do you do on the site for maintenance? You mentioned that you currently are posting 4 to 6 times a month. I guess you also do the actual web design yourself. So that might be something a buyer should be aware of, like especially if they don't know how to do web design. What would you say to a person looking at this business who might not be familiar on how to perform web design services?
Yeah, there's a million WordPress developers out there, and you can find pretty good freelance people to help you out when you need it. But if somebody did know WordPress, obviously that's better. But I wouldn't say that's a huge deal. Like I said, I outsourced all my design for the first couple of years, and so that worked out really well.
Oh, that's awesome. So is there anything else you do for maintenance on the site other than putting out new content and promoting it across social media?
Not on a regular basis. I mean, I have redesigned it. I try out new plugins and different techniques, and so that I can offer the most up-to-date options for clients. But yeah, for the most part, no, not a whole lot of maintenance.
And what skills or requirements are there for someone not familiar with this niche?
Yeah, so you need to know, you should know WordPress, which basic skills, if you're not going to source it out, maybe some HTML and some CSS. Knowing JavaScript wouldn't hurt. However, when I started, I did not have any of those skills. And, you can make it through, right? So I learned it along the way. But otherwise, you kind of have to learn the IDX if you don't know it, which it's pretty self-explanatory. Somebody should definitely know how to promote content and use social media, and I think some of the more basic inbound marketing skills.
Yeah, and for anyone who is out there and not very familiar with WordPress, WordPress is hands down the simplest website management software around, in my opinion, which is pretty easy to learn. I imagine with the popularity of IDX is also pretty user-friendly, yeah?
It is, yeah. And again, I go to Upwork a lot and just hire people on individual basis a lot of times, if I don't feel like doing the work myself. So it's pretty easy to find people.
Do you have just as a side question here, for your people that you have outsourced, whether with web design or IDX via Upwork, would you be willing to give away those successful freelancers to the buyer, just their contact information, if the buyer does want to outsource like that?
I would, my personal, I don't, let's see how to say this. I don't like reusing them, as then they're a little bit less likely to give me a better deal. So I generally just continue to find new people a lot, and I put real low bids out, and then you can get the work done real cheap. So
This is
so I never really
a good
reuse
strategy.
anybody. Yeah. As soon as I build a relationship, the same work that they did a week earlier for $50, they want, 150, right? So
That's funny. So wrapping up the interview here, would you commit to a non-compete after selling this business? Something where you sign where you're like, hey, I'm not going to get into the web design niche, selling web design to realtors next week after you buy this site from me.
yeah, that's no problem at all. I have no desire to do that, at least for the upcoming years.
And how much support would you be willing to offer a buyer of this business?
I think I just kind of went off of what your example was in the write-up, and I think, what did we say, a couple hours on the phone and some emails. I don't know. I would be willing to give somebody a good amount of support to get going. What the standard is or what that looks like exactly, I don't know, but
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I think most people would be very interested in the IDX portion of the training, since if someone is a veteran of buying websites, the IDX thing most likely would be new to them unless they've been operating the real estate niche as well. So I could see some training going on for that, maybe some email support, just little things here and there. WordPress in of itself is pretty simple, so I don't imagine you would have to provide too much support there. But
yeah.
as far as you actually sell the site, would you be open to a split or earn out? So say like a buyer comes like, yeah, I'll give you 70% upfront of the listing price and then 30% on closing, or maybe 60% upfront and 40% over the next 2 to 4 months based on hitting certain training goals, just to make sure that they're up and running and feel comfortable. Obviously, the best case scenario for both you and Empire Flippers is to get a 100% cash offer. But if that didn't happen, would you be open to something like this?
Possibly, depending on the offer.
Excellent. Well, I have one last question. It's the $1 million question, Jason. But before I get into it, just to remind our listeners out there a little bit about the wrap up of this website, the summary. The site was built in January 2011. It has a monthly revenue of $14,634 with expenses of $6,100, which the majority of those expenses come from a partnership that is no longer in the business. So it sounds like the majority of those expenses could be cut down. As far as the actual net profit, the website is making $8,534, and includes the buyer's server space. The domain name would also be transferred. The IDX account and ShareASale account would also be transferred. And you said you had an email list of 3,000 people, was it?
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4, maybe 4,000.
4,000 people. And an email list of 4,000 realtors, which is actually a pretty good opportunity in of itself to sell new services if a buyer does introduce a new service of any kind.
Yeah, it's a great list.
So the $1,000,000 question to put you in the hot seat, Jason, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Here's what's great. I think you can go one of two ways with this. And honestly, I'll tell you what I did. I use this as a lifestyle business. I work from home. I sit in my office here, and I work when I want, as much as I want, or as little as I want. And if I were to have gone the other direction and put, full scale, so I have 3 kids that I'm a dad of, right? So this has allowed me to be a part of my family while making a good income. Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
That's a great pitch. I know that is something a lot of people are looking for when it comes to online business. So excellent pitch there, Jason. I'm sold. So
thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man. So for the people out there watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, and you want more information about this business, the link to this listing on our marketplace will be below the video. That would take you to the actual listing. Now, if you're watching this on the actual listing page and you're wanting more information, you can become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be taken to the next step. So Jason, thank you so much for coming on. It was a very enlightening interview, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay, thank you, Gregory, and thank you.